I want to bring in Massachusetts Congresswoman Katherine Clark, who also serves as House Democratic Minority Whip. Congresswoman, thanks so much for being here. As we've discussed, the deadline, a new deadline, it seems, for trade deals is August 1st. But now we're learning the president has actually rejected some deals that his team has negotiated. I want to play again the director of National Economic Council, Kevin Hassett, but this was what he said yesterday. A bit of a revelation here. Watch.
Right now, we've got that guy who wrote The Art of the Deal, making deals for the American people. And we've got to see where the dust settles. The bottom line is that he's seen some sketches of deals that have been negotiated with Howard Lutnick and the rest of the trade team. And the president thinks the deals need to be better. And to basically put a line in the sand, he sent these letters out to folks, and we'll see how it works out.
So if you are one of those other countries in negotiations, are you going to sit down with Lutnick and try to hammer out a deal after hearing that?
You know, this is once again the Trump strategy. There's no art of the deal here. This is just about injecting chaos into our economy. And who's going to pay for this? It's the American consumers. Let's just take Canada and the tariffs that are proposed there. That's going to impact the cost of energy, certainly here in New England and upstate New York. And northern border states. It is going to impact the cost of lumber. That's not only going to affect our housing crisis in new housing, but also is going to raise the cost of housing insurance, which we are hearing from constituents around the country is already going out of reach. So all of this is directly against what Donald Trump said he would do as president, which is reduce costs.
In fact, the Yale Budget Lab estimates that American households will pay an average of $2,400 more for goods this year as a result of President Trump's tariffs and the recent passage of the big, beautiful bill, as they call it. If Democrats win back the House in the midterms, what will Democrats do? What can Americans count on?
Well, we are not going to wait until we win back the House in the midterms, because we know that all this tariff activity is also not the president's legal authority. So we are bringing the lawsuits we need, and we are going to continue to try and convince the Republicans in Congress to reassert our power under the Constitution to impose tariffs, because we don't want to wait until January of 27 to be able to reduce prices. But I can tell you that Democrats are solely focused on reducing that cost of living. And we've seen this president just tear through people's budgets at home and doing, again, exactly opposite what he would say. We're seeing it with their policy. We're going to see it with back to school shopping and the high costs that people are going to be seeing for clothes, for shoes, for the basic electronics. And we're seeing it in the destruction of people's health care system that is going to rise the cost for everybody while it devastates those on Medicare and Medicaid.
I hear you on the health care stuff. Just on the issues of inflation, the bottom line is inflation hasn't been ticking up yet. In fact, a lot of prices are down right now. There's fear, of course, that the tariffs will lead to those higher prices, but those haven't materialized at this point. We know gas prices are down. We know, according to Republicans, you know, they just passed the largest tax cuts in history. So they're trying to bank on some of those numbers, and they're saying this is what we're giving you as Republicans. What are Democrats going to give the voters if they were to support the Democratic agenda? What does that look like?
Yeah, so let's start with small businesses. And one of our focus is going to be making sure that small businesses have the tools they need to succeed. And what we're hearing from small businesses is these tariffs have already put them in great jeopardy because they had to make their purchases for the holiday season back in late spring. So what Democrats are saying is we are going to get to work to make sure that we stabilize tariffs so small businesses can plan. We're going to make sure that we are addressing and building more housing so that we can address the housing crisis, that we are going to go back and make sure that health care is a right and not a privilege in this country, and that it's affordable. We're going to look at childcare and work to bring down that cost for family, which is often more than a mortgage payment or a rent payment. And these are the factors that Democrats are focused on. We know that we have to get to work for the American people who are telling us over and over that life is too expensive for them. And what we are seeing Donald Trump do is just move in the total opposite direction, making things harder and making things more expensive for people. And if we want to talk about taxes, Democrats are eager to talk about a tax system and tax reform where we are collecting the unpaid taxes from the very wealthiest and creating a system that actually helps Americans get to that first rung of the American dream and works for them. And the tax system that the Republicans in Congress with Donald Trump just passed, again, does the opposite. It is rewards for the billionaire class and the very wealthiest Americans.
Congresswoman Katherine Clark, thank you so much for joining us. I wanted to also ask about FEMA. We'll have to save that part of the discussion for another day. Ran out of time here, but again, really appreciate your time. Thank you.